This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WCFL Dolphins Talk. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It's Victory Monday. So let's go ahead and bring on our co-host. We have Mr. Dolphin Winters. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, brother? I'm happy that we are here on Victory Monday, and I can't wait to sit there and talk about the matters at hand. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good. A little tired from the road trip home this morning, but a lot better than I would have been if I came home last night.
Right.
Let's go ahead and bring on Mr. John O'Hanlon.
What's up, guys? How are you? Good to see you.
And happy Victory Monday, John. How you feeling, brother?
It's a Victory Monday. I'm tired as hell, but hey, it's worth it.
Let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Tom O'Gara.
What's going on, y'all?
Tom,
how you doing, Tom?
Good. Happy 1-0.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're undefeated.
So what we kind of were hoping we would see in the second half. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We're going to get right into it. We're going to get right into that, for real.
Yeah.
So today on our Mondays, our brother John O'Hanlon has decided to name this Do's and Don'ts Mondays.
Positives and negatives.
Positive and negatives. Yeah, definitely. And we seen some positives and we seen a lot of negatives. But the key thing is we're 1-0 and we just got to build off of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna go ahead and let Mr. John O'Hanlon start us off with his positives and negatives, and we'll discuss it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of both. There was a lot of positives. I mean, first half we didn't score. We were moving the ball at times. It was like, to me, it was like watching somebody play with a sink. They kept turning on the hot water, then the cold water, then the hot water, then the cold water. And a lot of that, the play calling, a lot of behind the line of scrimmage plays. Running outside instead of up the middle. I mean, there's a lot of positive. The second half, I'll tell you what, they made a heck of an adjustment at the halftime, and were then able to move the ball, and we were down 17-7, and I'm thinking, man, this ain't going the way we needed to, and then the defense came out. They made their adjustment, shut them down for the second half. The offense moved the ball. Tyreek, two big plays, Holland punching the ball out for the turnover, and the very next play, 80 yards to Tyreek, touchdown, just totally swung the momentum, got the crowd back into it.
It really did.
Jeff Smith Jr. just running with conviction and anger when he got in there, and fresh legs against the tired D that stood in the sun all day. Yeah, you can nitpick it, you can pick it apart and say this or that, but you got the W at the end, and that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anybody got anything to say on that? Besides the whole blow in the back?
I really only got a chance to watch the first half because the streams were messing up and I was at work. So, I mean, the first half.
What's up, Jaconda? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to lie. The first half had me pissed. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody on this panel. I understand it's early. You got to work the kinks out. I get it. But then some things that we were doing, it was like, okay, guys, y'all better sit there and do something. One thing I did find out by watching a lot of the different interviews, like from Armstead and from Cheetah, from Tyreek Hill. Tua sat there and was in that locker room and sat there and put his foot down and said, it's time for us to get our head out of our asses and sit there and start playing football. And that's exactly what you want to see out of your quarterback. That's what you want to see out of your leader. So if it needs to take that to get the fire lit under the players' asses, that's exactly what we need. The second half, like John said, is a completely different game. You've seen the defense give up no points in the second half. That was huge. You can see the adjustments that they made. And the offense finally came alive. We do need to work on our running game, and we need to work on our offensive line. They did enough to get us through, but for us to get through against Buffalo this upcoming Thursday, we have to get that running game together.
Well, we can't get punched in the mouth like we did, as Tua said. Yeah, it was. I got half my prediction right. Jaguars didn't score more than 17. That's what my score was, 17.
Yes.
We just didn't score enough.
Right.
Get the prediction right. But I know I heard someone say something like 21-14 or 21-20-17 or something when we were going over, asking other people their predictions and stuff.
And it was right on, too.
Yeah. So, Tom?
So first half, I mean, you can see that the Jags played more together. They had a lot more snaps, a lot more PT in the preseason together. So I mean, think about it. Our offensive line didn't really come together for less than 10 days. The entire training camp through the summer into the season. Aaron Brewer had 5 practices before he got hurt. Aaron Brewer looked great.
Yeah.
Snaps weren't bad. His pass protection was good. I mean, Robert Jones had those 2 holding penalties. You got to clean that up a little bit. But the more they're together, the more chemistry they'll have. The tight ends were absolutely awful, but I'm hoping that gets better. Their blocking got much better in the second half, especially on a lot of the things we talked about. A lot of those wheel routes and swinging gates and getting guys in motion. Jonnu was out there. Julian Hill was out there doing well. Durham, just catch the damn ball, bro. Like, those are drive killers in the first half. As much as our offense looked like spitter spatter and unhinged, like a lot of those big plays that we had, the 10 to 12 yard gainers that were just called back by penalty, then a drop, then a this, then a that. But it'll get better. I don't know if Mike was doing extra vanilla on purpose for Thursday and focusing on this screen thing. I'm okay with the screen thing. I like it, but you need to have an intermediate because then it will open up the deep pass. You need to have balance with the run because then it will open up everything. And know you can go back to that gadgety screens with the tight ends, with the guys on the end around, with the receivers. But 20 plays at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage is not what we want to see. Like, period.
Yeah, well, something we don't want to see either is 109 yards of penalties.
Correct.
Right.
That really hurt us a lot too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I can honestly state it. There was like 3 or 4. I mean, the refs did us 0 favors in the first half. They pretty much stayed out of it. The second half, there could have very easily been a pass interference call against Jags again with I believe it was Hill, where he got there early, hit him with his arm, and no call.
Yeah, there was that, and then there could have been a roughing the passer against Tua on the sideline there.
Right, and no call.
Yeah, the second one was definitely better than the first one.
And then the second half, the refs kind of got out of it a little more, and we didn't see too many flags in the second half. So
Definitely happy for Jeff Wilson. That's what you want, though. You want these guys to be running with fresh legs on tired legs.
Yeah.
100-degree heat, use it. It sucks that this is our only 1 o'clock game in Miami that we're going to have the advantage for, but that's the game plan. Grind these guys down, get the couple 3, 4, 5 yards you can get, and in the fourth quarter, just go after them. Mike, he finally stayed true to the run on that drive. He ran the ball 4 straight times. It was like, holy shit, here we go. This is what we want.
Yeah.
Just drives, eat time.
And it was at halftime, we were down about 4 minutes, I think, or a little over almost 5 minutes less possession time. And we ended up with more possession time at the end of the game.
I think my favorite thing about the 80-yard play is the biggest fuck you to every Tua hater that he's a first read quarterback ever. First read
Yeah.
quarterback, it's a screen play to Devon Achane on the left. He looks at him, it's not there. He looks at Waddle
Right.
going right. He looks at the intermediate with Braxton, the tight end, and he sees Cisco, who just had hamstring cramps, issues with his legs, and he's the help man on the outside. Let me just lay it all the way, perfect ball placement to the left side, and let Cheetah do the rest. Beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And for the Tua haters, I mean, look at the one that he overthrew Tyreek by about a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that play. Oh man, that was the first quarter, correct?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and there could have been a penalty on that, because if you watch the beginning of that run when Tyreek was on the sideline, the guy actually threw his arm out to hold him up so he couldn't get past him. Which,
Right.
if his arm never wraps him like that, Tyreek's under that ball.
Yeah.
You got to take like an extra route over and then up.
Right.
Well, and that was my whole thing when I seen that. You know, he outthrew Tyreek, which is not easy to do.
Rare, very rare. But you know what? Right now, he leads the NFL with 338 yards passing. So until later on tonight, between the 49ers and the Jets, Tua leads the NFL week 1 right now. And that's
That second
exactly
half
what
was
you want to
masterclass,
see.
bro. 12
Yes.
for 16 for 207 yards, and really 2
Yes, sir.
touchdowns. We'll say 1
Yes,
because it's
sir.
officially 1, but technically it was 2 with the Achane's touchdown.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
really can't answer
you
more
have.
than that.
I mean, but which is something different. You know, Waddle had 109 yards, Hill had 130 yards, Achane had 76 yards, all in receiving.
Mhm.
You had over 300 yards in receiving between 3 players right there.
Phew.
And I would not be surprised at a future game this year to see the 3 of them end up with each having over 100 yards each
Easy.
in one game, you know.
Braxton Berrios, please catch the damn ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bro. Like,
agreed.
bro, I honestly, at
Agreed.
this point, I don't even see the value of having him on the team if he's just not going to do anything in the kick return. You had Hill out there for punt return.
Yeah.
That's all right. When we get
At least Hill tried something.
Yeah.
Well, I think McDaniel did that to try to jumpstart, the team by putting Hill back there, saying, "Hey, if you got a chance, run."
Yeah, try
Yeah.
something different.
Well, and they purposely punted that ball away from him, so he'd have to go after it, if anything.
Crazy catch too, over the shoulder, backpedaling.
Yeah, it was a crazy catch.
Speaking of punters, no complaints about our punter yesterday. Let me tell you.
No, averaged
Best game of the
49 and a half yards he averaged yesterday.
Yes, he did.
But he was
Pinned
pinpointing that ball on the sidelines.
Yeah, he was.
5-yard line. He was killing it. Jake Bailey.
a lot
Yeah.
of
As someone said, I seen someone said in one of the text boxes, one of the chats, don't know what he did this summer, but he did something right to make major improvements. And I guess that's why we ended up retaining him. Hopefully he can keep it up, and
I mean, when we got him, he was a Pro Bowler with the Patriots, and then it kind of was like average and average. If we can get that Pro Bowl out of him, I don't even care if he punts 45 yards average. Keep pinning these guys down low. Like, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Make them have 95
Exactly,
yard
yeah.
extended drives. Even if they score, it takes a lot out of a team to go 95 and 98 on back-to-back drives.
Well, my wife's positive and my wife's negative. Her positive, it was hot. Her negative, it was hot.
The seventh circle of hell.
You definitely could tell it, the third, especially the fourth quarter, you could tell it took its toll on Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
Every time there was every time out, there was our guys were going over to the shade where they had to stand out in the sun still.
You kept seeing their trainers give them those vitamin packs. All of them. They had like the potassium packs, the banana thing, the little applesauces for kids, orange slices, basically like anything they could do to help them. These guys were cramping bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of Jacksonville fans before the game, and they're like, "Jacksonville's hot. It's not like this."
Right.
Yeah.
Is it raining?
And you know what? As Cap Pillay says, Thursday will be very, very interesting. Well, even though it's a night game, it's still going to be hotter than what they're used to.
And very humid.
Yeah. especially if we get just even a little rain shower. That humidity is going to be up in the 90-95% and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As far as rushing wasn't very well until Wilson Jr. got in there. Who was it in that play? You thought it was Jeff Wilson Jr., I believe, John. You said that play on the third, it was near the end of the game, Tom, and it was third down and short, and he came in motion, and Tua handed him the ball where he went right up the middle.
Alec Ingold?
Was it Alec Ingold?
Yeah, it was. I thought about it after. It was Ingold on that one.
Yeah, 3rd and 1 or whatever after.
Because that was a crazy play. Yeah, that was a crazy play.
He almost made it through, too.
I know, and I was saying I've never seen a play quite like that. I mean, usually we're in the motion, they're going past the quarterback and stuff.
That's not the one time I'll say that I can even say that Liam Eichenberg had a good double move block where he helped him seal down with Brewer and he went up to the next level. That's the only reason that he didn't make it through, honestly. He kind of tripped over Eichenberg's pancake lineman, or he kind of would have went right through on 3rd and 1 to the end zone. There was no one back. They had the whole line up because they needed to stop.
Yeah, Eichenberg was actually one of our top 5 rated players for the game.
Yeah.
Stop moving his ass around and let him focus on one position for once.
Agreed. 100%.
Like, they saw the potential with the draft. I mean, he played for Notre Dame, and he gave up 0 sacks with a hard schedule. They went to the national championship. And then he comes in, and he completely loses the basics. Like, his technique was horrible. His hands, his feet placement were horrible. Then he got him moving all over to different places. New coach. Just keep him in one place for right now.
Right.
Okay, real quick.
I would like to see – go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would like to see them not have Hurricane games before Dolphins games. The field is shit, especially inside the hash marks. I kind of probably attributed a little bit to Sanders Shank.
Well, I mean, ETN had no trouble running in the first half.
Yeah, no, I just mean it's like back in the day when we had pro player with the Marlins. Like Murray struggled between the 30 and 30 when it was in that interior hash on the right side because the infield dirt where second base was. It's kind of the same spot, like right there in that middle third of the field. Just at least work on that more.
Hey, positive Sanders was 2 for 3 and hit the game winner. So
I'm good with redemption. Yeah, absolutely. And it was deep. How about Brent Aubrey yesterday hitting the 66-yarder with enough leg to at least make it maybe like 68, and the idiots had a delay game in the Cowboys game. That kid's an animal.
Right.
From not ever being like a professional kicker to pretty much going like 33 of 34 over the last 2 years with 10 to 15 in the 50 to 55 range is nuts.
Uh-huh.
What's up, Hooked Up Joe?
What's up,
Not
Hooked Up
much.
Joe?
How's it going?
Well, it's good.
Victory Monday, Hooked Up Joe. Victory Monday, brother.
Absolutely. What a good game the second half. Tua had like a 70 quarterback rating in the first half and 140 in the second half, equaling out to 101.
Mm-hmm.
And he had starting out where he left off with number 1 number of yards.
Right.
Real quick, I'm going to show this little snippet of Calais Campbell on an interview.
First take.
When you say that they were being, using excessive force, I'd like you to be specific with our audience exactly what you saw that makes you say that, number one. And number two, when you got out the car to address the officer in the situation, what did you say and how did you identify yourself to the officers before he put you in handcuffs?
Yeah, so, they were trying to yank him down to the ground. And so, like, I saw him, kick him and pull him down, pulling the cuffs, shoulders looked like they're messing up. They kind of got him down. I felt like the one officer was pushing on his head. and just was like completely unnecessary. And so, I got out, I had my hands up like this, approaching, and I'm just telling him like, hey, I'm a friend of his. I don't know what's going on here, but I think the situation is definitely unnecessary. And they told me immediately to back up. And then the officer who was elevated came to me. He was telling me I had to leave. I stood there for about 5 more minutes. And told him I'll stand where you want me to stand. Wherever you tell me how far I gotta back up, I'll back up. But I'm not leaving the scene. This is my friend here. I'm here to support him. I'm not leaving. And he said, "Well, if you don't leave, I'm gonna tow your car." I said, "You can tow my car. I'm gonna stand right here. I'm not leaving." And then a little bit back and forth of you're blocking traffic. And I think I responded to him like, you can tow my car. I don't feel like I'm blocking traffic. He's like, that's it. You're under arrest. Puts me in handcuffs. And, Tyreek's there, obviously feeling distressed. And, Jonnu Smith was there as well on the other side in front of him. And I was behind him. And he's like telling Jonnu, don't leave me, man, don't leave me. And he's talking to me. And it's just like, he's in an extreme situation that I don't think he should have been in. It was completely unnecessary. And so, I'm here for you. We got your back. If they take us to jail, they take us to jail, but we're going to do this together.
Oh, hold on, Shay, did you tell them that you both were members of the Miami Dolphins? Just throwing that out there, just asking.
I did not mention that, but I think it was obvious by the time I was in the situation.
Scotty Scheffler 2.0.
I love that interview.
I gotta finish watching it because I was eating lunch with my mom and sister when it came on. So I'm gonna go back and watch the whole interview once we're done on here. But
well, that's the only snippet they showed and stuff.
Right.
That I got. I just love it because it shows the support of your fellow players and stuff. And for traffic it was supposedly it's a traffic violation. Why are they dragging him out of the car for a traffic violation? The only thing I could think of is he was doing more than 30 miles an hour over the speed limit or something.
Well, here's the thing, Paul, and I will say this, and as a son of a police officer, God bless his soul, my father, what I will say to you is when you have a father like mine that have to tell you about his colleagues, and this is a conversation I had with my father when I was 12 years old. I am a 47-year-old black man in America, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this very clear and direct. With that situation, doesn't matter if it was 30 miles, 40 miles, 50 miles, 60 miles, 100 miles. All that situation considered was a ticket and going about his way. Whatever interaction he had between the officer and Tyreek, we don't know what happened between him and Tyreek.
Yeah.
But what I will say is this. That is something that is normalized to this day in our nation. So what I will say is, and quote, Tyreek wasn't right in what he did, but it wasn't right for the officer to use excessive force like he did. And he knew who that was in that car. So with that being said, to put him on administrative leave immediately, could have been just. But like I said, we don't know what the interaction was between those two, but that was just disgusting. And I don't care if it was a white man. I don't care what color the person is. Nobody should be treated like that in our country, period.
No,
I
agree.
There were two videos that were pretty good, like for not knowing and not being able to hear everything. There were 5 officers at Tyreek's window when they asked him to, they didn't ask for proof of license or insurance or anything. They literally said, get the fuck out of the car. That was the first thing they said, 4 of them tapping on the window, get the fuck out of the car. Tyreek talks about a little bit in his post game where he said, his grandfather always told him, keep your hands on the wheel, keep them visible, be respectful, don't escalate it. But in the video, you can hear him kind of just saying, that's it, get out, that's it. And then on the other one where they have him on the side, they said that him being combative was when they put him on the ground and they sat him up, that he was trying to stand back up to try to talk to them, to explain the situation. So that's why they threw him on the ground the second time, and that's when Clyde said he got kicked. He kind of did on the side. They put him on the side by the grass, by the fence, where you can kind of see into the player a lot. There was a couple angles there where the whole thing, even the police unit came out today, he was being combative and non-responsive about sitting down. So that requires 7 officers with 4 bikes and all of this nonsense for not sitting down. Him short of saying, I have a gun and threatening you, it's a ticket, no matter what. There's no need to pull him out.
Technically, according to the law, once if he was 30 or 40 miles an hour over the speed limit, they can arrest him for that. It's not just a ticket. There's not enough
for the
video.
reckless. Well, they quantified it for reckless after. First they said it was a moving violation. So it's like you have to inquire further to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean,
or give more.
Whether we actually get the whole story ever, we're never going to know.
Absolutely.
We couldn't hear Tyreek in the car when they came up to the car. We don't know if he was like, hey, I'm Tyreek Hill, or can I get my papers? Or we don't know what he said because there's no audio of that.
Correct.
So unfortunately, he said, she said, we don't know. We're never going to know. I mean, unless Tyreek's wearing a body camera, which obviously he's not, we're never going to know the whole thing, which is sad because, Tyreek's going to say his side, the officers are going to say their side, and somewhere down the middle lies the absolute truth. So
that's true.
I did make a joke last night when we all went out to dinner. I said, because I had heard a story that they were actually chasing him before he got to the stadium on the highway. And I said, well, I had heard a story he was doing 130. I'm like, well, all right, so he did 130 on the highway. Then he went in the stadium and got 130 yards where speeding was legal.
Thanks.
Well, go back to the positive and negative. Part of my positive shows why Calais Campbell is still playing after his 18th season.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
after all that,
he showed. Yeah,
first play. It's crazy. After all the things that happened, first play.
He takes care of his body like crazy. He pulls in experts from around the country that fly in just to work on his body when he's in season. I mean, like multiple people from multiple places, and has all this equipment and does a regiment and everything. He's serious. I mean, for him to come and take a discount and come play for us when he's what he is, he's a monster still. And he's the best vet pickup we picked up this year, I believe.
And another positive is Jalen Phillips is back.
Yeah.
It was so good to see him finally get home because he was close most of the whole game, causing havoc up there. And then for him to get home was so nice. Yeah, I was watching him. I'm like, I'm on the edge of my seat at the same time when I'm watching him. It's like, and finally, it's like, Agba. It was also nice seeing him roll the dice.
Back to back.
Yeah, biggest moment in the very next play, Phillips.
Biggest moments of the game too.
Joe, what was your biggest positives and negatives about the game?
The biggest positive for me was the fact that we came out rusty and then we adjusted and just the biggest positive for me is proof that our defense really is what they say they are. The first half, I was like, holy shit, they don't have a scheme. They don't have a secondary. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean? And then, for them to have their first game ever with that scheme and with that defensive coordinator and to hit that much at first and then just to come back and shut them out on the second half and just gel that quick is just...
I agree with you, Joe. I think that's where I feel our defense is farther along than a lot of us think.
Yeah, I believe they really gelled, and they're not going to have that many terrible first halves, and I think that was just them figuring it all out in live action, and they're ready. I can't wait for Thursday.
Welcome, Shake Money.
What's good?
What's up, Shake?
Shake. Go ahead, Tom. Good. Go ahead, Tom.
One thing you'll notice immediately is adjustments were made. Something that Vic Fangio didn't do at all. Something that most of our defensive coordinators had problem doing. Period. Adjustments, and even not 100%. Ramsey is moving with the number ones all over the field. He's not stuck on an island on the left side of the field, hoping that they get lucky with a play comes across where he's sitting there bored while you got Cater on an island on the other side getting killed by Diggs.
Yeah.
Steve Ramsey all over this year. I love it.
Yep.
And Cater held his own for the most part during the
He
game.
did good. Yeah, I just was using him from last year with Fangio kind of just screwed him with that one.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, he played well. They all played pretty good. You know what I mean? Poyer should have had a pick. Holland had a couple good plays. See, this is what we expect out of Holland. We expect these big plays and these moments of athleticism. We're like, oh my God, this is our safety of the future. Now, if we can just get a full season of health and, can kind of come to terms on the money somewhere, because I can't see paying him almost $20 million a year for 7-8 games a year, regardless if he's good or not. And they're only 22 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Holland had the best positive of the game. He changed the entire game.
Absolutely. I just wish there was like 3 other times with him that, as much as I loved what he did, and he obviously saved the game, you got to get in front of these guys. You got to stop arm tackling. Because there were 2 or 3 other plays where Holland's like trying to get Bigsby on these long 18 and 20-yard runs where he's coming from the safety box, but he's just diving at him, or he's just like trying to like put an arm on him. And it's like, dude, you did that a lot last year. Get in front of these guys. Just like baseball, the ball's coming to you. Get in front of it. Stop it.
Yeah.
At least help force him to have some other help. That's my only thing about him, is that I wish that, think about it. He misses that punch out. He's walking into the end zone. We're down 24-7.
Right.
Oh, if he doesn't punch it out, game's over.
Right. Some of these guys get punch out happy. A lot of last season at the end of the year, these guys were all just trying to punch it out rather than get in front of them. But, happy mix of good and bad with that. That's only one thing from me. Just get in front of guys and stop arm tackling, and I'm completely pleased with everything you're doing.
Well,
I think the Phillips.
Go ahead, Joe.
The Phillips sack, I believe he was swatting at the ball, and he missed the swat, and he turned around and he still came back. Like he was going sideways, was trying to hit the ball, and then he like stopped and went right at him and sacked him anyway. Like he did the swat and he still got the sack.
Super pretty.
Shake, what were your positive and negatives about the game?
My positive was obviously we won the game, and negatives when we played straight up football, we were moving the ball, but when we started getting cutesy, artsy, fartsy, that's when the started sputtering. Yeah, I think he was getting too cute with the play calling.
Yeah, I'd put play calling as a negative for me too. Like talking about what's the positive, what's the negative. I think the play calling overall was a negative.
In the first half, most definitely.
I think one other negative is kind of what we've been talking about, which it will get better, obviously. Chop, you got to set the edge. They're going to exploit the shit out of you and just bully you straight up the field or straight down the field and run it right off your hip.
Well, that's something I think that's something that they're using him. They're using the inexperience. He's a rookie, and I'm going to give him time. And that's something that the defensive coordinator and the defensive line coach is going to work with him on. Once he gets it, and I give him a couple games. I really do. I give him a couple games. I really do. He'll get it together.
I mean, he had a house over there. It wasn't like he was playing a normal left tackle. He had Cam Robinson, one of the better left tackles in the league. The guy's a huge man.
Right.
It's more about his burst is good, his first step is good, his hand placement needs to get a little better, because as soon as he's trying to go in or outside with it, that's when Cam was just bodying him and pushing him and forcing him where he wanted to go. Fine, you can go upfield. I'll let you use your speed all you want. We're coming right off your ass.
Right.
As soon as he can set that edge, even if it's not great on the edge, it's going to get better. That was just the only thing for him, that it's what, people's knock on him during the draft process was, and it's what you kind of saw in that preseason games where he kind of had good and bad flashes. That's really the only thing they really have to focus on, is hand placement and getting him to really set that edge. It'll help the back end of the defense more that way, too.
Well, real quick, we're going to take a quick commercial break, guys.
All right.
What's up, y'all? This is Chef Jew. Looking for a great chef for your next catering party, private party, office party, etc. with welcome watering meals and desserts? Let Chef Jew Catering and Sweet Treats take care of it for you at an affordable price. Call me at 786-804-8096. Also, reach me at chefjewcatering@gmail.com. Direct message on Facebook and Instagram at Chef Juice Catering. Chef Juice Catering and Sweet Treats. Food with a passion. We do it all.
Chef Jude, South Florida, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach area, and I got to meet the Mrs. Chef Jude this weekend.
Nice. Very nice. And I agree, Hooked Up Joe, dude, the munchies are kicking in.
I'm starving.
Yeah.
But definitely check out Chef Jew. If you see him at a tailgate, he has cupcakes or whatever, definitely try one. Definitely try one.
And don't forget, guys, we need letters to get Richmond Webb into the Hall of Fame. So don't forget.
Burke, what's good, Burke?
My man Berg in a place to be. Yo, it's funny. Dan Berg said once they played Mobamba, the game changed. So I think Dan Berg dancing put a spell on the Jaguars, so it helped.
Well,
Dan,
you
gotta
seen
get
the picture.
Garfinkel's ear.
If you didn't see the picture, I have it posted on Facebook of him up there dancing.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Listen, that could traumatize anybody. If that's the first time the poor Jacksonville players saw it, they all just went, "What?"
Oh man,
Never changed, Dan. Never changed.
Never.
Never
No,
changed, Dan.
just keep being you. Just keep being you. That's how we all should need to be. Just keep being ourselves.
Yeah, we need the Berkster to be the Berkster.
Hell yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope.
Yeah, Jaconda says, once the song came on, I was, where's Dan?
Every game I hear it, I'm really looking for it. Anytime I even hear it or see it, college game, baseball game, football game, I'm like, Burke, where you at? Are you moving?
Well, it's funny because he sits to the left of me about 4 sections over, but I know right where he sits, I can see him, and that's what I was able to zoom in and get a couple pictures of him.
That's excellent.
While he's up doing his little thing.
That's what I would call it, a thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, gentlemen, we got a quick turnover, and I know we'll talk more about it on Wednesday also, but we got the Buffalo Bills coming up this Thursday, and we already know that they had a scare against the Cardinals because, trust me, this is not your same old Arizona Cardinals. And this is one of those games that we have to look forward to in Fan Club Weekend also, where the Arizona Cardinals are not going to forget what we did in their home a couple years ago because we squeaked out of there with a win. So,
well,
yeah.
It's not the same Cardinals, but it's not the same Buffalo Bills either as far as...
That's true. That's true. But think about it.
Well, I mean, I look at it, the Buffalo game went a lot like ours. They did not play well in the first half, then they played very well in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one drastic difference you will see, I mean, well, let's say with a positive. We actually covered a tight end, a good tight end in game one. The Bills didn't use any of their tight ends, which 2 of them are good. One with better upside, and Dalton Kincaid had 1 catch for 11 yards, and Dawson Knox had 2 for 13 or something like that. I definitely think that they'll be utilizing the 2 of those guys a lot more, knowing that the past history of tight ends in Miami.
Right.
And the Bills are going to be a different team this year. They're going to rely on the run. You saw what they did last year towards the end of the year, which helped bring them to the playoffs and become successful at the end of the year, is balancing their attack. They don't have the receivers they had last year, but James Cook can run the ball. Josh can run the ball. They're going to run the ball about 25 times a game. They're going to take Josh's 45 passes down to about 25 to 30 a game at most now.
And that's where, go ahead, Winners.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's where, watching Sunday's game, our defense needs to work on stopping the run a little better than what they did.
Especially on toss plays. On the outside.
Yeah.
The inside wasn't bad. The inside was decent. I mean, I'm okay with giving up like 2-3 yards. I hated to see like how we used to have it. Guys chasing guys down, our linebackers tackling 6-7 yards downfield, like, oh yeah, made a stop. You got 6-7 yards. What the hell are you doing?
Dan, I like your score because we win, but I don't want it to be that close, brother.
Yeah, for real. You ain't never lied. I mean, listen, I want to enjoy all my festivities at the tailgates. So definitely.
I'm saying 27, even though I say I don't want it to be that close, I'm still saying it's going to be in the 20s. and we're only going to win by a score.
Our last
27-24.
last 3 or 4 games, there was Buffalo. There's only been one blowout. The other ones were 33-30, 30-27, 32-30,
36,
whatever it was.
33, yeah.
And then we had the 56-14 in there. So it's definitely going to be in the 30s, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm thinking 27-24 or 30-27, something like that, or even 30-24.
I'll say 30-17 Dolphins.
31-23.
I'm going to take another heartbeat and say 24-23.
Oh,
That's definitely the type of game we usually have with them.
Yeah.
27-10.
I would like that.
I like it, but I need a higher score than that to win my bet.
All right, 37-20. How about that?
37-20 will work. That'll work.
What's it like, 47.5? 46.5?
50,
like
50 on Hard Rock. 50 on over under 50 on Hard Rock.
Sorry, Paul. I don't think you're gonna hit that 50. I'm not trying to jinx you, but I don't know if I'm. I don't know. It might be close.
27-24. That's 51 points. That's all I need.
It'll fuck around and be some 24-21 type shit, and you're gonna be looking at that bitch like, what the hell?
Vegas gets the call. Brandon Vasquez wide right.
I'm not quite like Tom. I only do a little $10 bet. And that's about it.
Right.
You're only a semi-degen. You're not a full degen yet.
I'm not. My full degenerate is on the ship with the cards.
That too.
That's my degenerate.
What do you think about tonight's game? Going to watch Aaron Rodgers come out there and.
Let's just pray, and this is all jokes aside, man. Let's just pray that nobody gets injured after 4 plays. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? We actually want to see what this Jets team is going to look like with Aaron Rodgers, with them healthy. And, I know we are saying that we're 49er fans tonight, but we got to look at them because we faced them around the week before Christmas. So,
yeah.
It'd be interesting to see both teams. I really want to see the 49ers win, so at least one team in the AFC East could be 0-1. So, why not the Jets? Sorry, not sorry.
How about losing Chase and Cincinnati couldn't do nothing?
Yeah, you see that.
Yeah.
There's a completely different team without Chase on that field. Like, it was a lot of narratives. I didn't, like I said, I think
Higgins hurt them, I think, the most.
Yeah, somebody asked, like, what do you think about, like, the different things that's going on after week 1? And I haven't checked all the narratives that have been going on in the NFL. But that's a huge one because that AFC North, like I said, the AFC North is tough. That could be a huge factor for the Bengals right then and there, depending on how long he'll be out for. Because he's
typical Bengals, though.
Yeah,
Bengals are always like 1-2, 1-3, 2-4 to start the season. Burrow always is atrocious in September. It makes no sense, but always.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, they always get to a slow start, but the Cincinnati Bengals towards the back end of the season, once they get hot, it's a team you don't want to face.
Yeah.
For as bad as they look, Trey Hendrickson looked like first team All-Pro again. He had like 8 or 9 quarterback pressures.
No, they playing
as long as they could.
And one
they
team
playing in San Fran tonight.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
Yeah,
Yes.
Which is good for Aaron Rodgers because he won't have to play on that hideous field. At least he'll have one that he doesn't have, that he can, because he's probably used to
turf.
that, grass. Yeah.
And one team that go ahead. And one team that we talked about was the Houston Texans, where they showed up and showed out yesterday as well.
Yeah,
Well, both those teams did, and he played a good game.
yeah, they did.
Think about it.
I actually
like 9 for 19, but he had 2 60-yard touchdowns and only lost by one
Exactly.
possession.
Well, it's funny. I missed. This is my first time in a fantasy game, and I missed the draft, but I ended up with C.J. Stroud as my quarterback.
Woo!
That's nice. My ass got Jordan Love. I'm sitting here sweating.
And then you got Khalib over there in Chicago winning his first NFL game. So that was interesting over there. Like, that was definitely an upset. Nobody had the Bears winning that game at all.
Will Levis,
Yeah,
what the fuck are you doing? Just take the sack.
Yeah,
That lost him the game. Simply that. Like,
yeah.
dude, you're
Simple as
going to the
that.
ground. Why get rid of it?
You know,
Mr.
so
Simone Biles in the pick six. That was it for that. He played bad, but he'll get better. They're worried about Roma Duzane being done for the year, by the way, too. And Keenan Allen being out for 4 to 6 weeks. They might be fucked.
damn.
What
He's going
team
for
is that?
MRI. The Bears.
The
Number
Bears?
what? What Duzane went like 8 or 11th. He was their second first round pick. I forget. The wide receiver from Washington. He had one catch
Yeah.
for like 11 yards, and then they came out with knee injury. He went right in and never came back out, and they went for MRIs today. I haven't heard yet. And then in the third quarter, I think Keenan Allen came out with a heel issue.
Hey, yesterday Storm Duck had a tackle yesterday.
Let's go.
Yeah, he was rotating in, giving Ramsey a little bit of a break because you could tell Ramsey wasn't really all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a tackle, and that would be perfect for the shirt. You've been ducked.
You've been ducked.
Or just like
have a picture of him with the
crosshairs on it,
or have a picture of his body with a duck head and then a storm up behind him.
Here comes the storm.
There was somebody dressed. There was somebody dressed in a duck head yesterday at the game.
Was it Alex? Was it Alex?
No.
I'm surprised because that would be the first person I would think that would do that would be him.
I know Eric Carrier likes ducks. He might have some duck paraphernalia to put on.
Right.
But I tell you what, I was impressed with the defense quite a bit, really, especially the second half. I mean, they just tore them up the second half. The changes they did, and I mean, last year our defense got better and better as the game went, and I'm hoping that's the way it goes with their defense now. But I think our defense is better and farther along this year at this first game than they were last year at the first game.
So here's your second half stats. 37 allowed passing yards, 78 allowed rushing yards, 115 total, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 0 points allowed.
Nice. The key stat right there. 0 points allowed.
And it was actually 2 forced fumbles. One we just didn't recover.
Yeah, it would have been crazy off the 80-yard touchdown. Oh my God, I don't know how we didn't get that. To be honest with you, Duke Riley on it.
Well,
when they showed the replay, there was a foot of a Jaguars player, and as he was trying to scoop it bounced off his foot and went back towards the guy that recovered it. So
yeah.
Saw that.
But if you didn't notice, Duke Riley cut all his hair off, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, they had that on a video. Who cut it for him? Fuck, there was like 3 players there. They were cutting it off. They're like, "You're gonna cut it all off?" Was it Waddle?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I remember.
I just know when he came out and prayed at the end zone, I'm looking. I'm like, is that Duke? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I can't remember. There's a video. He's in a barbershop. I think he was doing like either a podcast for somebody or an interview for somebody. And they had the clippers, and they were trying to get in to do it. It might have been Reek. I can't remember who did it, but someone was like shaving his head for him and cutting the locks off.
I'm muting because I got rain coming, and I'm right underneath their skylight. So,
good.
Since I'm usually Mr. Positive, I'll throw another negative out here. The penalties. We had way too many penalties.
Agreed.
Yeah, I said that earlier. We had 109 yards and 9 penalties. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was that was bad. Jacksonville had 78 yards in penalties, and they had 8 penalties.
Yes.
And I think 2 of them were like the biggest ones. We had like a 40-yarder on that Ramsey PI where he kind of had to do the PI or it would have been a touchdown with Brian Thomas. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of unacceptable with so many, and so many were drive killers early. In the second half, there wasn't that much going on. First half was a lot of those. I think we had 5 for 65 in the first, 10 minutes of the game.
What do you think about Achan got 7 out of 7 on receptions? He got as many receptions as Tyreek Hill did. Granted, they're easier ones, but still, I mean, that's being involved in the passing game when you have 7 receptions.
He's in the
Dual
slot
threat.
on trips. I love it.
Dual
Yeah,
threat.
he,
He can catch the ball and he can run the ball. He's dangerous any way you look at him on the field.
10 point, what was it? 10.6 yards a carry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I mean,
Right where he left
reception.
off.
His running yards wasn't much, but his receptions, I mean, that was nice. Yeah.
Nobody had running yards this game. We couldn't run for to save our lives. We could.
Yeah, we only had 81 yards rushing.
But we did run it at the end. I mean, we ran it enough to go ahead and run the clock out and kick that game-winning field goal, which is the best way to win a game, is just to grind it out and kick it on with no time left. You know, like we did with Dallas last year. I mean, that's another positive, as we ended the game right.
We're talking about run. Another positive we could say is that Tua extending plays with his feet. When he saw two-man coverage and the linebackers going out and the Red Sea parted, we've all been saying it. Take off. And he did. We had 2 first downs. 2 first downs.
Yeah, he had, by the stats on the Dolphins stats, he had 1 rush for 11 yards.
Yeah, at one point he was the leading rusher. He was the leading rusher at one point.
Yeah, dude, it was great to see that. I mean, he the one sack where he had the helmet kind of hit his foot, and that one was kind of weird. The tripped up. The sack you really couldn't take to knock us out of field goal range, down 17-7 at that time. And then the next ensuing drive was the punch-out play and then the Tyreek touchdown. But other than that, I mean, he looked good. He settled down. He took leadership, accountability, all the things that everyone that hates him wants to see from him and says that he can't do, we're seeing. So, like, you know, let him fully develop into this vocal leader and take us where you want to go.
We got about 6 minutes left, gentlemen. How you want to finish this off, Paul?
If I can, real quick, I just want to say R.I.P. to King Joffrey III. He passed away today at 93. James Earl Jones, man. R.I.P.
Yes, sir.
James Earl Jones.
R.I.P. The voice of Darth Vader. Also, that man has been on probably every type of entertainment that you can think of, from being on Broadway stages, Tony shows, Emmy, Oscar, you name it. James Earl Jones he's been a pedestal of the entertainment industry for decades. Not 1, not 2. We're talking maybe about 5 to 6. He's been in a lot of old classic movies from back in the day, black exploitation films, and so on and so forth. He will definitely be missed by a lot of us.
Yeah, he ranges all type of generations, and a lot of people remember him from Mufasa, The Sandlot, Star Wars. You know, so many good roles. I was gonna say that too, so I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
Sandlot was one of my favorite movies. I still like that movie, just looking at it. And
I got a signed Sandlot photo by James Earl in my house.
Cool.
One of my favorite movies was, if I'm correct, it's called The Best of the Best. It was an old school martial arts film that he was like the coach, and they were going to South Korea, and they were going against the best in South Korea. And I'll never forget where the one guy was going against the other guy that killed his brother in combat. He sat there and went against him, and he had a chance to do the same thing to him. And you could see James Earl Jones saying no. And like, you could just see that. I could see that sign. I could see that scene in my face, like right now. So definitely, if you know, that man's his catalog is so extensive. It's like you're not watching all his films. It's just so many films. So
It's almost like, you know, how people say like Morgan Freeman's the voice of God. You can also could kind of say that James Earl Jones is one of those figures that's like a voice of like a higher power voice as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Definitely. Gentlemen, I'm going to say this to you guys. I can't wait to see John and Paul. I'm looking forward to that. Shake, if you're around, I hope to see you. If not, I'll definitely see you fan club weekend, or hopefully I'll see you soon. Hooked Up Joe, we appreciate you so much for coming on the show. Without a doubt, I appreciate you. And Tom, you always around. I got to deal with you and your Yankees. So it is what it is.
You better get that shit together. Jason Dominguez, time home run tonight.
Hey, listen. The Phillies got shellacked by the Marlins yesterday, so I can't talk about any baseball right now. It's like 10-1 yesterday. That was like, I mean, well, that's what happens when you beat them 16-2 a couple nights before that. So it's okay.
I'm ready for basketball next.
I am, but I'm not. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this Sixers team. I really don't. I love my Sixers, but I really don't. We got old ass Paul George. I'm not sure what to make of that.
They stay healthy. They're pretty deep. They went really good with their roster foundation. Like, just got to stay healthy.
That's the key word you just said. Stay healthy.
Well, that's every team in every sport. They got to stay healthy.
The same as the Knicks. Went to the conference semifinals in 7 games, missing 5 starters, and barely lost to a team that shot 78% NBA record. It's all right. We'll be there. Fuck out of here. Fuck you. Sorry, I got this giant bee flying around me.
So,
John, is there anything going on Wednesday night?
Not that I know of. There'll be, like if you guys come in and say, hey, let's meet up. Where are you staying, at the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can always meet for dinner or something, or.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know at one point Saul may not, but I'm gonna probably have to take my afternoon nap.
I'm going to be up 1:45 in the morning traveling. I'm going to get some sleep without a doubt.
Yeah.
So,
you say that, but until you get there, then it's going to be a different story.
Hey, listen, look, we'll see when I get there, but I can promise you, I'm going to need a nap. I can promise you that without a doubt.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We got time to end the show, unless y'all want to keep going.
No, I'm going to go get something to eat.
Okay. Thank you, everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Huddle Sports Network. We appreciate y'all very much. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace, love, and fins up, and happy Victory Monday, everybody.
Peace, love, and fins
Let's
up.
go, baby.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.